Hello and welcome to Bounding into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding into Comics. Today I got a story about a new poll showing that Americans overwhelmingly believe Disney unjustly fired Gina Carano from The Mandalorian. The results of the poll, conducted by Neil Newhouse of Public Opinion Strategies, was exclusively released via the Daily Wire, the company Carano inked a deal with to produce in and star in an upcoming film after she was fired by Disney. According to the results of the poll, which were conducted between February 26th and March 3rd, 58% of respondents were opposed to Disney's decision to fire Carano. The Daily Wire's Amanda Prestigiacomo reports, when first asked, Americans were found to oppose Disney's decision to fire Carano by 58% to 42%, including a majority of Americans across all age groups, gender, and ethnicity. Majorities of Republican and Independents similarly opposed the firing, as well as 40% of Democrats. However, when respondents were actually shown the social media post in question that resulted in Carano's firing, the number of respondents opposing Disney jumped to 72%. The Daily Wire breaks down the numbers. After reviewing the post, 28% said Disney was right to fire Carano, 39% say it may have been poorly worded, but she did not deserve to get fired, and 34% said they found nothing wrong with the quote and that Carano should not have been fired. The social media post in question was a screenshot of a post from Warrior Priest Jim podcast that Carano shared to her Instagram stories. After activists on Twitter, such as Discussing Film, attacked and lied about Carano, Disney would issue a statement through the press. The statement read, quote, Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. It added, nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. Newhouse explained, after viewing the post, a majority of every single group tested, including Democrats, liberals, and 70% of Disney fans, said that Carano should not have been fired. The poll didn't just look at Disney's firing of Carano, but also looked at a number of controversial actions the company has taken, including their recent announcements to completely rework Splash Mountain in their parks, as well as significant design changes to Jungle Cruise. 64% of Americans opposed Disney's decision to alter their theme park rides, with only 36% approving of the decision. The Daily Wire reports, quote, notably, Americans of color also opposed the decision, as well as 60% of Disney fans. Newhouse also reported that, quote, by a 65% to 35% margin, Americans believe that companies like Disney have taken political correctness too far, including a majority of every age group tested. 90% of Republicans, 60% of Independents, and 47% of Democrats. Additionally, he noted, quote, 47% of Americans believe that Hollywood is biased against Republicans and conservatives, including 75% of conservatives themselves. To add to that, just 25% of Americans disagree, saying Hollywood is not biased against conservatives and Republicans. These results echo a recent report in The Hollywood Reporter that claimed publicists are, quote, advising clients to steer clear of politics, especially anything leaning right. Crisis PR rep and founding partner at Emerald Digital and president of Herald PR, Judah Engelmeyer, also relayed in that Hollywood Reporter report, quote, I don't know what people at Disney personally believe or don't believe with regard to politics, but as a corporate entity, they want to stay as trouble-free as possible, and anything that's going to offend the left is a problem. He added, quote, I have clients who are making an extraordinary effort to post what the social left wants to see. The poll also looked at Disney's threat to cease doing business in Georgia due to the state's opposition to abortion. Prestigiacomo reports, by 54% to 46%, Americans were also found to oppose Disney's threat to cease doing business in Georgia after the state's government passed pro-life legislation banning abortions when a fetal heartbeat is detected. The poll specifically reported, quote, this decision is opposed by 50% of women and a majority of Republicans and Independents, as well as nearly one-third, 31%, of Democrats. Back in 2019, then Disney CEO Bob Iger discussed the Georgia law. He said,
well, I think if it becomes law, it'll be very difficult to produce, or rather doubt we will. I don't think I think many people who work for us will not want to work there, and we'll have to heed their wishes in that regard. Right now, we're watching it very carefully. I guess there's some speculation it could be enacted sometime after the first of the year. I think it's also likely to be challenged in the courts, and that could delay it. and we're being careful and cautious about it. But if it becomes law, I don't see how it's practical for us to continue to shoot there.
A report from February in the Daily Mail via the Daily Telegraph detailed that Marvel Studios, one of Disney's larger production studios, is ditching their headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, and moving to Sydney, Australia. A source explained, quote, Sydney is the perfect place for the Marvel blockbusters because most are essentially shot in front of a green screen. The whole studio is essentially transplanting itself from the US. The Daily Mail reports that Marvel Studios will film Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel, and a Doctor Strange sequel in Australia. As for what Americans might be thinking of Disney as a company overall, the poll found, quote, fully 60% of Americans say they have a less favorable impression of the company, and 58% say they are less likely to watch Disney programming. This all comes as current Disney CEO Bob Chapek lavished praise on Kathleen Kennedy and was extremely optimistic about the future of Disney. It seems that public opinion is turning against Disney and the radical changes that they are enacting and their obvious political agenda. But I want to hear from you. What do you make of this recent poll regarding the public opinion surrounding Gina Carano's firing and Disney's recent decisions? Let me know in the comments below. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding into Comics.